everyone. Whoops. Hey everyone, welcome back to the channel. And if you're new, welcome. My name is Adelina and I make videos about living in my tiny house on wheels and living a more intentional life. Also, I make videos about this Ram ProMaster that I converted into a camper van last summer, in the summer of 2021, as sort of a project during the pandemonium. I have been waiting for the weather to warm up so I can install something that I ordered off of Amazon onto the van, and it is finally warm enough today on Saturday for me to be able to do this. So I'm really excited about doing that. I also have to put on a new wiper blade for the driver's side because the one that's there is the original or an old style, and I did replace the passenger side one last summer because it started to split. So I'm going to do that today as well, and then talk a little bit about some of the projects that I want to do in the van this summer, because I'm getting super excited about it. When it stops snowing, I get super excited about being out in the van. Then it snows again for a couple of days. So let's hope the snow is over. Even if it's not, eventually it is going to warm up, and I want to get out in the van this summer, camping, adventuring, taking you guys along with me. So this is the first step on that. So let me show you what's in this box. So what I have in this box are visors to go over the two windows, the passenger and the driver's side windows, the ones that go up and down. And the reason I got these is so that I can have the windows cracked when I'm cooking in here, when I have the furnace on and things like that. And I can have them cracked even when it's raining outside or snowing. So I'm going to install them, but they get glued on and it has to be a certain temperature. It can't be below a certain temperature for them to be able to be glued on. So I can do that today. So I'm super excited about that. Fragili, must be Italian. Bonus points in the comment section if you know what movie that's from. One of the kids and I's favorite movie ever. All right. Lots of extra packaging. Probably not necessary. What's in that box? And as usual, no instructions. Excellent. I've watched plenty of videos, so I'm quite confident I can figure this out. They basically said, just test fit it so you are comfortable with where it's going to be. Then you clean the surface that you're going to be adhering this to, because this peels off. You clean the surface with rubbing alcohol, and then you stick it on. And you really, really, really hope that you get it right, because I can't imagine that it's easy to pull off and reposition. So let's just do a test fit. All right, so I'm guessing this is the eyebrow that goes on the other side, because that's what they look like to me, is eyebrows. So they go on. They go on the door, not on the body of the van. And they go like this. I guess like that. I think it's got to come down a bit farther so that we are getting more coverage on the window. But it can only come down this far because of this plastic piece on the mirror. So the next thing I'm going to do is clean this all off with rubbing alcohol. I'm going to start this side, pull pull the tape as I go. Hopefully that will work. Okay, well, that's how that one looks. Let's go to the other side. Uh-oh. I think that'll be okay. So that's that project done. Now let's change that windshield wiper blade. So I've got a 22-inch windshield wiper, which is what's required for these things. First thing we have to do is take this sucker off. And that is done just by sort of lifting it off. Okay, so the first thing you're going to do with this thing is you'll see that on this model, because I have the hook shape end to my blade, so the first thing I got to do is open this up. There's little marks here. You open that up, and then you just want to hook that in there. So I hook it in. Okay, and then this should click down. Okay, now it's in. You can see that that's in. Now this clicks down. You hear the click? And your wiper blade's in. Okay, that'll be a much better wiper blade than the one that was on there. All right. Always just a little bit harder than it needs to be. Okay, let's go inside, and I'm just going to show you really quickly what projects I've got planned for the van for the next month or so. So last summer, I built blinds or shades, blackout shades for both of these windows. And this year, I want to do some for the front. So I do want to have some storage up here. I know I haven't finished the walls up. That will happen eventually, but for now. And I saw the coolest thing on the internet. Actually, it was a forum, ProMaster forum on Facebook, and they had used, you can actually buy bags. They're soft-sided, but rigid-bottomed, and they have structure, that are meant to go on here instead of built-in cupboards. And they showed the ones, the post that I saw had the link to the ones for the Sprinter, and they were very expensive. And then somebody else got talking about, well, why couldn't you just use a pet carrier? As long as it opened at the front, then you could use that to store your clothes and then zip it up. And they basically attach them with straps or zip ties, whatever would work. And if I can find something like that, I think that would be fantastic because it's soft, it's not heavy, which is great, and you could probably do it for a pretty reasonable price. And I did see some on the internet. So I think I'm going to order those and give those a try and see how it works, because I wouldn't mind putting some storage here and then having, I don't think I'd put anything on this side, the head side, but storage there I think would be great. So I do want to do something about storage here. I'm going to start bringing everything back out into the van, my water jugs, my fresh and my gray water jugs. I want to recharge my USB rechargeable tap and bring that out and get that all set up. Just start bringing things out so that it's ready to go when I want to go. Ultimately, by the end of the summer, I would really like to have a solar panel and have some solar generated electricity inside the van and put some paneling on the roof. I don't know how I'm going to do that. I want something fairly easy to install. I'm not that bothered about having built-in lighting right now. That's not something that I need, but I do want to be able to have some power that I can run some heavier things on and not have to be plugged in wherever I go. I want it to be able to power the fan, because I did put in that Max Air fan, but it's not wired in. So I manually open it when I'm cooking, which is great. But I want to be able to obviously use the fan so that when it's really hot, I can have it on, I can have these windows open and have some air circulation in here. So that's the main motivator for getting the solar, because I want to be able to run the furnace and the fan off of that. So those are basically it. Number one, I'm going to build those shades. That's the first thing. Secondly, I have seen some vents for the windows, because I want to be able to have the windows down when it's hot, but still have security at night. Some people make their own out of that plastic corrugated cardboard and such, and they do work really well, but I'm concerned that they're not safe, like not unsafe. I'm concerned that they won't be secure if I want to be able to keep my windows open at night to have extra air circulation in here, because they're plastic. And so these ones are metal and they fit over the rim of your window and they fit up into the gasket where the window would go up, and then you just basically raise your window. And so they're nice and secure, but they have louvers so they keep the rain out if it rains, and mesh so they keep the bugs out. I have these mesh sort of covers that go over the window that are supposed to keep the bugs out, but they don't sit flush, they gap, and so the bugs can get underneath, and so you're constantly trying to find a way to shove things on the sides to keep them snug. And they're, again, not secure. You can't leave those on overnight. I wouldn't, because I'm sole female in this camper. So those are the projects that I want to do. I'm pretty excited about it. And I'm dying to get out in the van and show you guys more of this province and this country. Number one will be the shades. Number two, I'm going to figure out something for storage. 3, the vents for the windows. And then 4, or along with that, I'm going to sort out and source out what I need for solar. If you have any suggestions, I would love to hear them, because again, I want a super simple system. I am not going to put in a charge controller or all of those components. I can't. I see these schematics for electrical systems and they are totally overwhelming, and I am not living in here full time. But every time I see one of these videos where they just use that power station, the heavy duty power station, the Blue Eddy, and because it will take the cables directly from the solar panels, that seems like brilliance to me, and it will serve my purposes perfectly, because again, I don't use a lot of electrical things, but I want to be able to use my hair straightener sometimes, and you know, just generate electricity so that I can use the fan. That's a big thing. But I won't have to mess with fuse boxes and inverters. That's the term I was looking for, or any of those things. So yeah. And eventually I will put something at least on the roof, because I think that will finish things off quite a bit in here. But I don't know what that will be yet. So we'll see. We'll see. So thanks for coming along. It wasn't a very exciting video today, but I did want to show you the little eyebrow vent shade. I don't know what those are called. I will put it here so you know what those are called. And I will put the link to them in the show notes. So if you're looking for them, I'll put the link there. I am dying to get out in this van and do some camping and do some cooking. And, you know, it's nice to get out. And there's an expression about tiny houses, and I think it applies to vans as well if you are a van dweller. You don't so much live in a tiny house as out of a tiny house. And I do think that is true. It's about simplifying your life, minimizing your expenses if you can, so that you can spend more time doing some fun things and having some adventures. And I definitely want to have some adventures this summer. So thanks for watching, guys. I hope you're doing well. I hope you're staying safe. Remember, in a world where you can be anything, be kind. I love you guys, and I'll see you next Sunday. No Sophie today because she's in the house. But you know what? Let's go see what Sophie's doing. All right, let's see what Sophie's doing. And yes, I know I have to stain this again. There she is. Hi, Soph.